What's up everyone, it's the penultimate day of Big Brother 23. We are on day 84 inside the Big Brother house and things may not be as they seem because Azah could be about to make an absolutely catastrophic decision for the endgame. We have so much to talk about, so welcome to your live feed update. Now, right before we get started, folks, please hit the subscribe button if you are new around here. And also, everybody, please hit the like button. It does me a huge favour. It means more than you know. It really helps me get my content out there with the YouTube algorithm. So I would appreciate if y'all could hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already. And whilst you're at it, folks, I might as well throw another one in there. Please hit the bell icon to get notified every single time a brand new upload goes live on the channel. Now, question of the day, folks. We always do this on here, and the recurring theme over the past couple of weeks has been talking about bad moves and bad gameplay and overall bad players in the game, and that is going to be a huge theme on today's video. So the question of the day, folks, is it's kind of an open-ended one, and it's one for the Big Brother fan, which I'm sure all of you are. Who do you think is the worst Big Brother player of all time? We've obviously talked about bad moves that have been made. You know, you might bring up something like Victoria's game in Big Brother 16. It might be Marcellus not using the veto on himself in Big Brother 3. There is so many moments to talk about, but definitively I want you guys to tell me, who do you think is the worst player in Big Brother history? Let's jump right into the live feed update. So we start the day with talks from Big D and X. They have both told one another, I'm taking you to the end. I think Big D's had earlier in the week a little bit of kind of concern that he might be playing him like Xavier was playing Kyland last week, obviously. I don't know if we get a repeat of Big D acting the same way as he walked out the door, but Big D would obviously be in utter shock considering he believes he is the mastermind of Big Brother 23 and he's controlled the entire game. But Xavier realises that's not the case, so he's going to take Big D to the end should he win the final head of household competition. It's part 3, which is going to be Xavier versus Azah. But Big D is in this world where he believes he has played a stronger game than X and he's played a stronger game than Azah. Yet he believes Azah has played a stronger game than Xavier, so he believes he stands a better chance at beating Xavier in the final 2. Delusion, people. Y'all say it with me. Delusion. D-E-L-U-S-I-O-N. Say it with me. Delusion. Big D does not realise or does not have a grip on what is going on in the game. The guy's entertaining. I've talked about that multiple times, and it's not an attack all on a personal level, but on a game level, the guy is just not there. He is not with it, and he truly believes that he can beat Xavier in the end. If he wanted to stand a chance at winning the game, he would have had to take Azah, but that chance is gone now. He couldn't win part 1, and he couldn't win part 2, and he didn't actually win any competitions this season. Now, of course, I'm a fan of Big Brother, so I can appreciate how you can play a good game without getting any comp wins. But when you don't have any strategy to compensate with it, it makes it hard to respect their game at all. You know, Dr. Will, he didn't win any comps, but he charmed his way through and strategized his way through, which makes him one of the best players, or if not the best player of all time. It's arguably the case for Dr. Will. But for Big D, when there's no strategy and there's no comp wins, I mean, it's hard to justify a case for him to win the game. But either way, the only chance he stands at winning the game now is if Azah takes him to the final 2. We're going to get onto that later, but I still don't think he'd win against Azah. It's crazy to think what is going on in Big D's mind, to think that he can beat Xavier. He's going to be in for a shock. You know, if Xavier does win part 3 and takes Big D, when the jury ask the questions, I know it sounds horrible, but I've talked about this a few times this week about how I do think that when the jury says, Big D, what did you do in this game? And then he'll start going, I masterminded this and I controlled this. I do think the jury members could be laughing at him. And I'm not saying that in a nasty, cynical way. I truly just think that could be the case, because that's what happens when you go to the jury. Most of them quickly leave the game behind. And then it kind of becomes a family unit in the jury. Not always, but sometimes. This season it really does kind of feel like that. It becomes kind of a family unit where it's everybody versus the people in the final 2. So you obviously want to try and, I don't want to say belittle's probably the wrong word, but try and catch people out as much as possible, because the jury will definitely go in with, and it always is the case, well, usually in Survivor or Big Brother, where the majority of the jury have bonded together, so they all want the same person to win, and that person is going to be Xavier and not Big D, should it be them in the final 2. So it could be a case of people laughing at Big D's answers when he starts to claim that he masterminded the game and he played one of the strongest games in Big Brother history, which we all know is not the case. But yeah, folks, there's a moment, obviously, obviously between Xavier and Big D in the day. So I expect if Xavier wins the final head of household competition, he's going to take Big D. Big D obviously continues to sell that sort of stuff, even though he can't win it. I think he's just trying to reassure Xavier that he would have taken him and it's the right decision for him to take him. But we all know it is the right decision. Big D, we've got the right decision. We know the right decision for a different reason, if that makes sense. Big D thinks he can beat X. We know Big D can't beat X. X will win the game, so it's the right decision for X. X could take anybody, but listen, he's going to get more of a clean sweep if he takes Big D to the end. Alright guys, now for the headline of the day, which has shocked the Big Brother world all over social media and made people go, what on earth is she thinking? Azah and Xavier have spent a lot of time cuddling and napping with one another, obviously getting very close. Xavier did it with Whitney, he did it with Alyssa, and now he's doing it with Azah. It's crazy because he seems to be working his magic on each of these people, and most certainly Azah. As of yesterday, guys, Azah has told Xavier that she is now leaning towards taking X to the end should she win the final head of household competition. I think we might as well right now say, congratulations Xavier, you are the winner of Big Brother 23. Take a moment, guys. I think that's that. It's sealed. It's sealed it. It's the fate of Big Brother 23 has been sealed up until this point, really. As fans, we were all kind of going backwards and forwards, going, if Xavier wins part 3, he is going to win the game by taking Big D. If Azah wins part 3, she is going to win the game by taking Big D. Not anymore. She wants to take Xavier to the end and has told him that. We've seen some questionable gameplay from Big D this week, but that decision from Azah is shocking and really, really bad. I'm not criticising Azah on a personal level at all. She seems like a really lovely person. But man, what a really horrific and terrible game decision. She is literally signing away her cheque to $750,000. Obviously, she has not won, or nobody has won part 3 yet. But she was probably going to win the game had she stuck with her guns and taken Big D. Of course, we still have a full day left before the decision has to be made by either of them. But Xavier, it's testament to him how he has worked people socially and he has manipulated Azah into believing that she stands a chance at... I don't even know. Do you know what as well, though? I'm not even going to give full credit to Xavier for this. I'm going to give credit to Big D on a bad game move. Big D has constantly told Azah in front of him, I don't stand a chance at winning against you and all that stuff, and you know, I'm taking Xavier, and basically pushing Azah away, and it's backfired on him. Just when you think Big D's game couldn't get any worse, he somehow persuaded his best friend of 3 months, I know it doesn't sound long, but it's magnified in the Big Brother house, his best friend and closest ally, he's persuaded that person to take him out of Final 3 to lose the game, for both of them to lose the game. Big D's game is... bad. I could have said worse there, but man. And Azah is... I know it's this game move is stupid for her to believe that she can beat Xavier. This is a joint effort of Xavier working his social game and Big D working his social game in reverse. That's gone really, really badly and backfired on him. Truly bad gameplay from both Big D and Azah. I don't know what y'all think on that. I'd love to hear everybody's opinion on Azah thinking it's the right decision now to take X to the final 3 or final 2. Sorry, there was moments when it was happening yesterday, and myself included, and I saw a lot of other people on social media kind of going, she might just be lying. She's going to be lying to X. She's not going to. But then it became more and more apparent that she was serious, and she is seriously planning on doing this. Big D has basically screwed over his chance at winning the game fully. He's gone now. Big D cannot win the game, and Azah is basically on that level now as well. Well done, Big D. Well done, Azah. You've passed it over to X, and it's, do you know, I've got to congratulate him for it because he's played the best game out of the 3 there, and I'm not being nasty, but if you're going to be stupid enough to make a move like that, you don't deserve to win the game. I think I really enjoy watching Azah and Big D on an entertainment level and just as people. You know, when Big D's kind of entertaining the house, and that I've found him entertaining. But but some of the things he said are very questionable and kind of offensive, which I don't tolerate. But Azah seems like a really lovely, down-to-earth person, and for her to make this stupid move is really disappointing. It's tough to watch. Really, as a fan, it's tough to watch, and I want to hear what everybody else has to say on the matter. Just when you think, you know, it was kind of going to be up in the air on finale night, Azah or Xavier, you know, who was going to win part 3, that has kind of been stripped back now, and it's landslided, and it's going to be X who wins Big Brother 23 unless something drastic changes. Man, I'm kind of lost for words in a way. I know I rambled on there for a while, but I can't help but kind of, the fan in me is going, oh, is this going to go down with those moves of Marcellus not using the veto like I talked about earlier in the video, and not evicting this person, or not evicting, you know, shocking. Absolutely shocking and unbelievable to watch. Let me know your thoughts, folks, on that one. Now, towards the end of the day, Big D kind of did go into a little bit of a strop mode, let's call it, where he was not happy at all. And I think he kind of started to read the vibe that Azah was going to take X to the end. And he was starting to say, you know, it was kind of shocking in a way. He's kind of saying, you know, I'm not going to give Azah any good mornings or good nights anymore, to try and destroy her study guide or something along those lines. If he